What's up everyone, Adam from Cape Crawlers, and today we're kicking off the Axial SCX10 Gladiator build. Oh, this one's going to be a fun one, guys. We're going to dive into the SCX10 Gladiator. Now, if you've seen my prior videos, you know that I picked up this really nice condition, gently used SCX10 Gladiator, which has really been my dream RC since I got into this hobby with the little crawlers. And almost immediately I went to work on transforming this thing into a scaled down version of my 1:1. I really wanted to make it as close as possible as I could to my 1:1 because the 10 scale is super cool because you have so many options for customization. So I did that and I love it, but now I'm ready to take it to the next step. You guys know I can't leave things alone, so we got to take it to the next step. And I'm really craving more performance. So I kind of scratched that scale itch, getting to a point where it was almost identical to my 1:1. But I found out there's a couple flaws in that approach, and that's what we're going to be addressing in this video. So I got a bunch of upgrades going on in this thing. But first, let's kick it off with the Gladiator as it is now. I'll give you a build update, show you what I've done to it, kind of current state. Then we'll run it. We'll get some baseline course runs, except I can't take it on the indoor course. I got to take it out to my crawling spot. So we'll go hit the rocks with it, get some baseline runs. Then we'll throw the upgrades on, and we'll go back out and hit the rocks and see what we made for performance gains. So let's jump in and check out the Gladiator in its current state. All right, let's take a look at current state of the SCX10 Gladiator. So it looks quite a bit different than it did when I first picked it up, right? So it took me about 10 days, maybe a week or 10 days, to completely transform it into what you see here from what it was when I got it, which was an all-stock, for the most part, gray Gladiator. You know, that real nice gunmetal gray color that they have, which I really like. But I always had the vision of transforming this into a scale version of my 1:1. And it's awesome with the 10th scale because the accessories that you can get for them are so scale. I mean, we have gotten this thing so precise from a scale replica standpoint. So I want to go over what I did to it, where it is now, and then we'll look at what I want to do to it in the near future here. So obviously the most striking thing about this build now is the color. So I painted it this bright blue. I used the Tamiya paints, however you want to say it. The Tamiya polycarbonate paint. I got the new Lexan body from Axial, and I painted it the brilliant blue was the color that I used, and then I backed it with a bright silver. For the fenders, so I initially wasn't going to mess with the fenders. I was just going to kind of leave it close enough, but I decided to give it a shot and paint the fenders. So I did paint the front and rear fenders, also using the Tamiya paints. I used just the plastic paint for that, but I also did a couple coats of primer on these, then the brilliant blue, and then 3 or 4 at least coats of clear coat on here. And they came out really, really nice. I mean, I love the look of it. I really, really do. I love it so much, I don't want to drive it because I don't want to scratch the fenders and everything, which is not a good thing, which is kind of what's brought me to this video, is that I want to document it how it is right now because I want to go thrash it and it's not going to look this nice again. So I wanted to do this video selfishly because I wanted to get it documented with this as nice as it's going to look. But you'll see with the next upgrades that we're going to do, I'm going to kind of change it up so that I can beat it up and not feel bad about it. But anyway, so I painted the fenders. They look really good. If you're looking for longevity though, I don't know if that's necessarily the way to go because they scratch very, very easily, even with multiple clear coats on there, heavy clear coats on there. They just don't hold up well. Just like a real vehicle, if you knock them into rocks and things, it just scratches the paint super easy. Obviously the Lexan is painted underneath, so this can take a beating, so the Lexan body is solid. The wheels and tires, so the Trio beadlock wheels are almost a dead ringer for my fuel block wheels that I have on my 1:1. If these had the black ring, they would be a perfect match, but they are very, very, very close. So I got these Trio 6-spoke beadlock wheels. Excellent wheels. I love them. They're nice and heavy. They're about 100 grams a piece, so they add some good weight down low. Really easy to assemble and look fantastic. Just great quality of these wheels. I was able to find these Axial BFG KO2s that are identical to my 1:1 tires. Exact tire, which I think is it's amazing. So they're still the 4.75 inch tire, but they're the replica KO2s, just like what I have. So the wheel and tire combo, we pretty much nailed it with this here. And they actually work really well. I'm pretty pumped with the tires, how they grab, how they perform. Next up, the Club 5 bumpers. I'm running the Club 5 racing bumpers front and back, and these are just incredible. Look at the detail on these things. Such a perfect match to the stock JLU, JL, and JT bumpers that are on the Jeeps. Just amazing. And it comes with the ears on the end, so if you wanted to bolt them on, you could. But just like the real thing that I'm running, I pulled the ears off the side. It has the winch guard on it. Perfectly scale to my 1-to-1. Amazing with the bumpers. The rear as well. So it's just perfect replica. And the 3D printing on these, that's what these are. These are a 3D printed bumper, front and rear. Very, very good quality. They've just done a really good job with these bumpers. The Club 5 racing accessories are incredible. On the back, I got the Axial accessory pack that has the traction mats and the hardware to mount everything. That did come with the high lift jack, which I was also looking to use as well on the other side. But I ended up finding this RC 4-wheel drive high lift jack, this 10th scale high lift jack, and it is a licensed high lift jack, functional, identical to what I have on my 1-to-1. Again, 10th scale accessories are amazing. You could remove this jack and it would legit work on the rig. It's crazy how cool, and it's got the little high lift stickers on it. So super cool. I am thrilled with the scale details of this build here. Some of the things that I'm not super thrilled about, these scale details come at a cost, I think. Like I said, with the fenders, they scratch super easy. The Club 5 bumpers, as much as I love them, I've had some issues with them. So these pieces here, these are not supposed to be attached to the body, but on both sides they broke off of the bumper. These are normally attached to the bumper and your body just slides into them, but they both broke off within minutes of assembling the body and the bumper. So I hot glued them onto the body itself, which makes it kind of cumbersome to put the body on and fit it into the posts. I had a lot of fitment issues putting this thing together. The plate in the back here just would not line up with the screw holes on the top. So a lot of it's kind of misaligned inside here, which meant I couldn't accurately assemble the winch guard. So the winch guard is kind of hot glued on there too as well, and I've had to do some makeshift hardware to get it to stay, so it's not very sturdy. The fog light broke. I was trying to press in the fog light and it cracked it in half. So again, that is hot glued in there as well. So as much as I love the Club 5 bumpers, I had some issues with them and some ongoing challenges with them. But overall, I adore this rig. I love how it looks. It is so cool how it's a perfect match for my 1-to-1 right now, except for the tire size. That's pretty much it. Everything else, I really tried hard to make it match. I painted inside the bed, so a lot of people ask me why didn't I do the black drop bed. Well, it's because mine doesn't have a spray and liner. So mine is painted blue, so that's exactly what I did. So it's just cool how I was able to match it up so precisely. But with that said, these are great to look at, and it's cool just to look at it against my 1-to-1 and watch it while it's going through the trail and things. But I want to rock crawl this thing. I want to thrash it on some challenging technical obstacles. It's going to get rolled over. It's going to get bashed into rocks and things. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take most of these accessories off, and we're going to put a bunch of new stuff on. Now, thankfully, these come off really simple. The fenders come off really simple. The bumpers come off really simple. So when I want a nice scale replica build, I can bolt these things back on. When I want to really run it, I can take them off and put the performance parts on. So let's take a look at the upgrades that I've got, and then we will get to installing them and see how they do on the rig. So let's check it out. So here's our phase 2 upgrades. So let's see, where do we start? Let's start from my left to right here. So first up, I talked about the Club 5, how much I love the Club 5 details. I've got the Club 5 Racing bar fenders here. Now these are the narrow fenders. I really dig these. These are so reminiscent of the steel fenders that I had on my JKU before I got my JT. So I actually have experience with these fenders on my 1-to-1s too, and I love how they look. I love how they work. So these are just kind of a raw 3D printed matte black material. They get scratched up, doesn't matter, totally fine. And these are just real simple bolt-on, just bolt directly up to the body, just replace the stock fenders. So these are going to give me a cool, aggressive look and also free me up to thrash it into things, roll it over, all that good stuff. Next up, I'm going with some different bumpers. You know, again, I love the Club 5 racing bumpers from a scale appearance standpoint, not so much from a functionality standpoint. I really found myself getting hung up on the front bumper, so I was looking for something with a little more clearance, and that led me to these steel Endura bumpers. So getting rid of the 3D printed Club 5 bumpers in favor of these heavy duty steel bumpers from Endura. Now this is kind of like a Stinger style. This is almost exactly to what I have on my 1/24 scale Gladiator. I like it's not the super pointy Stinger, but it's got this nice angled bottom to it, so we should be able to slide up and over rocks and things, and steel, so it's nice and heavy duty. Won't have to worry about bashing into rocks and things and beating up my scale bumpers. And I wasn't in a hurry to get a new rear bumper, but the combo on Amazon was only $40 for the front and rear. So I got the steel rear bumper as well. So we're going to upgrade our hardware front and back. Next up, it's got some smaller things. I got some brass hexes. As soon as I got those, I found these Hot Racing hex extensions. So these are 15 millimeter hex extensions. I actually found these at my local hobby shop for I think $10 each. So this was a great score. I was really excited to see. So these are just going to just extend my track by 30 millimeters. We're going to do 15 millimeters on each side and to give us more stability, give it a more aggressive stance. I also got an 11 tooth pinion. Now these two upgrades here, I really got the inspiration from a great video series by Upgraded RC. He went through a Gladiator and did a bunch of mods on it, and he did very similar. He did 15 millimeter extensions and the 11 tooth pinion mod, which I really dug his videos. So shout out to Upgraded RC. I'm going to kind of follow those footsteps as well with these two mods here. So I got that. And then the big dogs, the big ones, we got new tires. We got J Concepts Ruptures in the green compound 1.9s. Now these, I did a ton of research on 1.9 inch tires, and I was so on the fence between Proline Trenchers, Proline Hyrax, and then I kept seeing the J Concepts pop up, and the Ruptures specifically, and they are hard to find. Let me tell you, they're like sold out everywhere. They'd pop up and then they'd be gone. So I saw these show up on Amazon and scooped them right up as soon as I could. So these things are massive. It's a 4.9 inch tire, wide, tall, aggressive, and super sticky. Just love that sound. So satisfying. Really excited to see how this thing does with these. I didn't get any extra inserts or anything. The inserts that come with these feel pretty soft, so we'll see. I'm going to look in probably next phase, probably some 3D printed inserts. So this is what we're going to go with. This is going to be our set of upgrades here. So what I'm going to do is some baseline performance runs with the Gladiator, and then we're going to throw the mods on, and then we're going to hit those same lines again, and we'll see how it does. So let's get after it. So here we are at one of my favorite little crawling spots here. We're going to try to find some challenge lines in this rock pile. There's some more over there as well. Just some baseline runs with the Gladiator as it sits right now, and then we'll come back after the mods are done. So let's scope out some lines here. Totally high center there. Oh, maybe not. If I can save it. Whoa, nice. That was decent. These things are mighty impressive. I mean, for a nearly stock truck, that's some pretty gnarly climbing. 10th scales are so impressive. Having a lot of fun on this one little section right here. And try one more line and then I'll try another spot that's close by. This is just an alternative line to that same pile here, but more aggressive approach on that side. I don't think that one's going to happen. That'll be a good test for when you come back with the modified version. So this is one of my favorite proving grounds. Doesn't look like much, but this rock pile is so technical and challenging. Slippery, and there's lots of holes to fall into. I got to be mindful not to break parts here because I've broken many little axles on this rock pile. So let's try out some lines here. Wow, this thing is impressive. Try a real challenging line. I'm going to try to go up in that section there and around up to the top. So we'll give this a shot. This is a spot where I could really use my dig function too. I don't have it programmed yet. That's one thing I'm going to try to do also with the upgrades that are coming. Man, what a beast. I'm impressed with those BFG tires from Axial. I thought they would just be throwaway tires just for looks, but they actually do pretty good. Granted, I don't have much to compare it to, so we'll see when I get the J Concepts on there, but this thing's pretty impressive to me right now. All right, headed back to the big girl right there. That was a fun baseline run. I could have stayed out here all night, having a great time. So you got a couple trail trophies there. That's exactly what I was talking about with that paint. A little bit there too. But it's all good. That's why we're gonna switch them out. I'll take my time and redo these once we do the mods and everything, but super fun out here. All right, let's pack it in. We'll get this thing home and then we'll do the mods. Here is the next evolution of the Gladiator, my friends. Holy moly, is this thing not amazing. I am so in love with this build. At first, I was a little, not upset, but I was kind of bummed out deviating from the scale look because it just looks so cool, matching my 1-to-1 so much. But seeing this thing now, this looks so gnarly and so capable. I cannot wait to get this thing out on the rocks. So where do we start here? So let's start with the tires. Holy cow, these tires are massive. They fit perfectly on the Trio wheels, mounted up, no issues. Great upgrades. Super happy I got the tires. Next, let's talk about the fenders. So the bar fenders, I also think these look glorious. Club 5 Racing, even though you've ghosted me on my issues with the front and rear bumpers, I still love you because these bar fenders look fantastic. While we're in the front, look at that bumper, the Endura steel bumper. This thing is so rugged. Again, no issues installing. These things are a bargain for $40 for the pair of them. Got the D-rings on there. The stance, after doing the 15mm hex extensions, it's got a great aggressive stance to it. Not overly wide. I was kind of concerned putting those things on that it would be too wide. I think it's got a really nice profile to it. I kind of went off the rails with the upgrades a little bit here. I also installed Samix front and rear diff covers. Those are 47 grams a piece. What I already had on there that I think I forgot to mention earlier was the Endura portal covers up front, which are, I want to say, close to 90 grams a piece. So this thing has a lot of weight down low. It feels very heavy right now. So I'm optimistic the performance gains we're going to see are going to be pretty epic. And also, the one thing I didn't install was the pinion gear, and I'll tell you why. When I tell you I went off the rails a little bit, I mean it, because I ended up installing a full Hobbywing brushless system with the ESC and the brushless motor. Now this is the AXE R2 combo that comes with the ESC and the brushless motor. It's the 2800 kV brushless motor. I actually got this from another SCX10 Gladiator that we picked up. And I got to pause here for a minute and just give a huge shout out to our friend Jackson, who actually traded one of our mini crawlers for an SCX10 Gladiator, primarily because he's a big supporter of the channel and wanted Axial to have a reliable and capable 10th scale so that he could crawl with me. So enormous shout out to Jackson for hooking us up with that trade. So I ended up trading Black Betty, my little TRX4M Bronco, for another SCX10. So now Axial and I both have SCX10 Gladiators, but the Gladiator that we got had this full Hobbywing setup, and it was way too powerful for Axial to have or really need. I mean, that thing on 3S was just a rocket ship, so much power. Though I may or may not have pilfered the brushless system from his Gladiator, but he's all good. He's going to love it no matter what. And I'm going to love this thing even more because I'm so excited to try out the brushless system in this thing. I also got the dig function is all set up here. I actually hooked it up to my new RC8X transmitter combo from Radio Link. This came with the receiver and the transmitter itself. So we've really stepped up the electronics and this build in general here. So I'm so excited to try this thing out. So I'm going to stop geeking out over this. Let's put it all together and then go hit the rocks with it and see what type of performance gains we got. But here we are at the crawling spot. Just got everything situated. Had to get into the Hobbywing app and tune this thing down. The brushless motor had so much power. This thing almost leapt off of the tailgate a bunch of times. So I think I've got it. It's still pretty jumpy. I'm running 3S right now. That's a little better. But man, the thing has so much power. And still getting used to this Radio Link setup too. This thing's a monster also. So lots to check out and experiment with. So this is going to be a fun one. I'm trying so hard to be easy on this thing and just breathing on the accelerator to get this thing to move. Just crazy. Wow. It's way easier on that one. It's pretty impressive. Should I give you guys an idea of the speed? It's outrageous. I might have to go get my 2S battery. Now let's get into some challenge lines here. It rained hard last night. The things are a little wet, so it'll be a little bit different, but let's check it out. those rupture tires. Love them. Easy work there. Oh, that tire fold. So good. Come up to this line over here. I don't remember how I approached this last time, but I'll try some different runs here. Stinger bumper, I'm noticing, is hurting my approach angle here. There we go. Oh, look at that thing claw, man. Whoa. Coming over here to the rock pile now. This should be pretty impressive. I think these tires and everything are really going to, look at the squish. I think it's really going to showcase the gains here. So where that slow crawl and the grip and the added weight. Oh my gosh, the tires. These ruptures are no joke. Those tires, man, are so impressive. Awesome. On the other side now, I'm going to try that challenge line. Go up and around the pile here. I might have an opportunity to use the dig function in here, I hope. I'm anxious to try it. I don't know if I'll need it though. This thing is so impressive. I might need it up here. We'll see. That extra side heel stability from that extra width, much more planted. I mean, look at that angle there. Even with the portals, it's hanging on. I'm grateful for that extra width. And does it. I think we made the corner. Nice. So initially, I have to say I was underwhelmed when we were doing the challenge lines because I felt like it performed really well the first time around and not extremely better in this modified form. But now I'm seeing that the capabilities are so far above and beyond what I was thinking of prior that lines that were not even lines before are lines that this thing can do now. So what were challenge lines before, basically, were nothing for this setup, and I'm able to tackle lines that I could not even have considered before, if that makes sense. Case in point right here. Unbelievable. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. What a monster. I can't believe it did that line so easy. Okay, I'm gonna try the dig function here. So if I do my, see if that works. So this locks our rear tires. Lets me slide it over. Pops it out. Pretty cool. That wasn't a great demonstration, not a perfect area for that, but just fun to see it work. This is another one. I wonder if I can swing the front end up. Or even down. That's a cool one right there. That's a good one right there. So now if I release it, it come down. Very cool. Gonna head back to the big Jeep now. It's over there. I had so much fun with this thing. Unbelievable. I've been out here for a couple hours now, and I could stay all day. This thing is such a monster. The more I drove it, the more capability I found. And I'm amazed it didn't break anything. The thing is tough too. With the 3S power and some of the situations I was putting it in, I'm impressed. Very, very impressed. Such a cool build for sure. Oh boy, was that a fun one. Man, do I love this thing, my big blue baby. This thing is so great. Came out so awesome, so much fun to drive. It has power for days, performance for days, so much fun. I'm absolutely in love with it. This thing is just a monster. We really went in, jumped in with both feet here, and I couldn't be happier. I could have stayed out on the rocks for hours just enjoying this thing. So much fun. So what are the next steps for this monster? I think I'm going to do a couple different things. I'm going to look at some performance things. I want to look at some scale accessories too. I'd like to get a winch for the front. Might look at some longer travel shocks. If you guys have any recommendations for 10 scale shocks, let me know down below. And I really need to smooth out the power curve. This brushless motor has so much power and it's so punchy off the bottom. I've really got to work to smooth that out. I want to get back to the brushless power systems that I'm used to that have that really slow, gradual, linear power band. So I'm hoping I can do that with the Hobbywing app that has a lot of tuning capabilities in it, and also with the radio link transmitter that I now have hooked up to this thing. It has a lot of throttle control too. So overall, couldn't be happier with the setup. Had a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed this too. I'm going to be getting lots more content with the 10th scale. Once we get Axial's Gladiator out there running too, these are going to be a lot of fun out on the trails and going to crawler courses and things like that with the bigger trucks. So stay tuned for that. We'll have lots more. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of the 10th scale build? And as always, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I will see you in the next video.